Telltale Studios have made some of the most unique and emotionally moving games out there, and it's sad because this innovative workplace had to close down in 2018 after only 14 years in the business. But in those few years, they managed to make some of the most memorable games and moments out there. However, maybe the most impactful of them all is from the very first season of the Walking Dead game, which is what originally propelled them into the mainstream. Throughout the game, you play as Lee Everett, a convicted criminal who has now found himself in a world littered in the undead, and must fight and struggle his way from location to location in order to survive, meeting all sorts of characters along the way. The most important of them, though, is a young and orphaned girl named Clementine. She is sweet, innocent, and more than anything, scared of this new world around her. And with no family by her side, Lee takes her in as a sort of father figure, who is now on a redemption track to right the wrongs of his dark past. On your journey, you get to stumble upon many scenes of horror and beauty alike, where we get to analyze the deepest parts of humanity and what can happen to us when our backs are against the wall. The moment that really solidifies this game as one of the greats, though, is right at the end. For hours, the dynamic duo had managed to evade catastrophe time after time and stick together until the bitter end. But right at the finale, Lee finally gets bit by one of the undead horde, which means in only a short amount of time he will turn and become what Clementine fears most. After using his newfound powers to help move her through the horde, Clementine and Lee finally find a safe place to hold up, and Lee looks at Clementine with tears in his eyes and tells her that she must make the ultimate sacrifice. He hands her his gun and asks that she use it to stop him before he turns into an undead monstrosity, as he chains himself to a nearby heater. And with tears running down her face, Clementine pleads and prods, asking Lee why it has to be this way and why there is so much struggle. So you watch as one of the sweetest and kindest souls has to kill the one person who has protected her from this evil world, or leave him to suffer in agony as he turns into the very thing that he protected her from for the entire game. It's one of the most emotional scenes in a game out there, and is the perfect ending to the arc for both characters. Clementine finally has to fully grow up and accept the harsh realities of the world around her to become her own woman, and Lee, without a shadow of a doubt, redeems himself for the man he once was in a past life. It's the kind of ending that makes you sit back and think and relish in the journey that you've just gone on, and the horrific world of the Walking Dead that it took place in. A moment that can last with you for a lifetime.